Hi everyone, my name is Heather and I'm one of the strength and conditioning coaches here at Next Level Performance Training. And I'm here to talk about a topic that I find is often underlooked and somewhat confusing, just due to the amount of research that's out there, blogs, magazine, YouTube videos, all that stuff, you name it. It begins to muddy the water, and it's a topic that I find is really important and can help really bring your goals to the next level. And that topic that I'm going to discuss is post-workout nutrition. And this topic I find is very basic and can be utilized in a simple way. So our body uses nutrients specifically at different times and utilizes the type of activities that we do. And the type of nutrition that we use during, after, and post-workout. All of this really just hones in on us being able to improve our body composition, our performance, and being able to recover so that we can continue on doing our workouts and our training. So with all that being said, there's so much studies and research out there, and it begins to examine how carbs are used, proteins are used, whether we should take a drink, whether we should eat a whole meal. Really, all that I want you to keep in mind, and what I've been able to research and study and learn even in some of my classes in the past, is that post-workout nutrition can be utilized for everyone, from athletes to everyday recreation to everyday people that are looking to lose some weight and get lean and ready for the summer or even the winter vacations. The overall purpose of post-workout nutrition really comes down to three things. Being able to replenish our glycogen storage, so increase our energy storage, decrease the amount of protein breakdown, so really capitalizing on increasing our muscle strength and size, and at the same time increase protein synthesis. Big words just to really say repair muscle damage. All of this really just kind of brings down to the body's ability and really capitalizing on our ability to recover so we can continue working it out. Decrease the amount of soreness and increase our immune function, as well increase our bone mass, utilizing the amount of fat, which people really underlook that by having post-workout shakes can really help decrease the body fat that we have by really capitalizing on the muscle strength and the gains that we're getting. And that all includes just down to the importance of what post-workout nutrition really is. And so what I mean by this is when we work out intensely, we tend to damage tissues down to the cellular level, and we begin to use fuel, which is all good. It can help with our performance and all of that. But it only can be utilized if we capitalize on the repair and the recovery period. And that tends to happen during muscle turnover. So our muscles will begin to kind of take advantage of protein synthesis on a minor level, just slightly. But there's definitely more protein breakdown. So there's more breaking down than there is of building. But the relationship between these two parameters allows for overall muscle growth. But with muscle growth comes along hypertrophy. So how I like to simplify this, and without going into scientific terms, is using your bank account. So when we have a certain amount of money in our bank account, we stick to that number. So if before our workout we're ready to go, we have that amount of money, or we have that amount of energy and that protein synthesis in our body. So when we work out really intensely, we start to decrease the amount of protein synthesis that's happening, and there's more protein breakdown. Or in terms of a bank, we start to spend more money and it goes down and down and down. And we can work out so hard that we could spend so much money in terms of the reference that we go into, hypothetically, overdraft, which is a negative protein balance, which is very common. So that's why the recovery and the post-nutrition nutrients is so important, because it allows us to come out from overdraft, put more money into our bank account, or put more nutrients into our muscles. So that's just a simple terminology that you can look at your body as your bank account, as when you take more nutrients out, you got to replenish that back in to have that float be at the zero or even more, so you can gain more to continue bringing your performance to the next level. So with all that being said, really what I want you to know, the first thing is how to really capitalize on the post-workout nutrition is the availability. Our body allows us to have the availability and can really influence the amount of amino acids and glucose delivery transport into our body. Really big words just really say we have all these materials in our body that want to be used and they're floating around. So our body will use the raw materials that are already in there, or they will use the ones that we put back into it. So if we have more, the more the better, because it allows us to keep building and recovering when we're broken down. There's two ways that our body really capitalizes on it. So first is when we're working out, we have tons of blood flow going on. Our heart rate's going up, we're circulating all that blood, and that's really cool and awesome because when we do have that post-workout nutrient meal, all that blood's floating around, which means that the delivery of those nutrients get delivered faster. But they also are going to be denser when we have those nutritious meals, so that means that our recovery is just that much more heightened. The second topic that I'd like to touch on is a topic that I've had a lot of questions about in the past, and it's a discussion of topic in many of my lectures that I had, and it was that window of opportunity. When is the best time to have my post-workout nutritious drink, meal, you name it? Well, right after training and working out, our body is primed and ready to accept nutrients. We pretty much begin that transition and that window starts to close very quickly. Research shows that protein synthesis can last up to 48 hours, and that's really neat because that's that time that our bodies are able to grow muscle. So it can last up to 2 days. But most importantly, to really keep it simple for everyone and not make it complicated and you're trying to plan out times and meals, the best time really is before your sweat dries. So right after you're done cooling down, mix that shake, have that meal, you're ready to go, and just keep it simple before your sweat dries. So even before you maybe hop in the shower and get ready to go, have that drink, have that meal. That way you're really capitalizing on the nutrients because all the blood's floating and it's going to deliver it that much quicker. Which brings us to that topic of, okay, now I'm going to eat something within that 30 minutes or before my sweat dries, but what do I have? Now, post-workout nutrition goes into two different things. Like I said, we're decreasing our muscle growth, so we gotta have protein to help build that back up, and then we're also decreasing our energy stores, so we gotta have those carbs. A mixture of those both is awesome, but I don't know about you, but I don't necessarily carry around a refrigerator with me or a full-blown kitchen, so it's kind of sometimes really hard to have a whole food meal. So having that chicken breast, that salad, the eggs, fruits, vegetables, it can be challenging, and sometimes that's really hard for us to digest right after we work out. We're not always hungry for it, and sometimes it even takes longer. I mean, they say digestion can take up to 25 minutes, so when you think about it, 30 minutes right after a workout, 25 of that is just digesting that food before it can really be utilized. So what research suggests, and that's where a lot of the research does come into, is studying what kind of food they should have. So a lot of it is post-workout drinks, so the protein shakes or the protein meal replacements. And you can mix things up a little bit, but you do want to have a mixture of both carbs and protein because it's easier to digest, it's simple to have, you don't need a refrigerator, you don't need a full-blown kitchen, but it really accelerates the recovery to really capitalize again on that post-workout nutrition to help with those body comp performance and the recovery of all those things. So that being said, all of these topics, kind of the availability, what you need to know regards to that window of opportunity, what to eat, all is awesome, but it really only kind of hones in on the kind of exercise that you're doing. And post-workout nutrition really kind of only relates more to when you're lifting a lot of weights, when you're doing interval training, endurance, up to 45 minutes or longer. So you don't necessarily need to have a post-workout drink after walking the dog, unless it's pretty aggressive, or if you're helping your grandparents lift some stuff around the house, or if you're doing good old yard work or housework. That doesn't necessarily need the post-workout nutrition. So that's where us as coaches here at NLPT can come into play. So depending on what your goal is, if it's for performance, getting ready for the hockey season, baseball, soccer, you name it, or if you just want to really add those extra lean muscle mass to your body, you want to shed that extra pounds, you can speak to us because we can help customize some of those little simple things to really hone in on bringing your performance to the next level. So all that being said, big things I want to get you guys to take away is keep it simple. Have that nutritious drink, that post-workout drink, right after you're done working out, so before your sweat dries, because like I said, it'll allow you to increase your muscle energy so you'll be able to last and have tons of energy throughout the day. You're going to build that muscle mass, you're going to get stronger, you're going to get leaner, and of course, you're not going to be as sore. Who doesn't ever experience that next day muscle soreness, what we like to call DOMS, delayed muscle soreness? So that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video and you're able to get some quick tips that you could take away for after your workouts and really get yourself ready to go for the summer. As the summer holidays are coming up, you can still work out, but really capitalize on being able to perform better and bring your performance and your overall goals to the next level. Thanks again, guys. I'm Heather. Hope you have a great day. Awesome.